Since this is stuff and things, you want to see something interesting, type it into the search engine. Maybe you'll get something that's fun to look at.
You sure can.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
What's up, Internet? We're back. It's the Stuff and Things podcast.
6 weeks later,
It's been many, many weeks. I've been out of town. Haven't been able to get anything done. But we're back. We're doing more stuff.
We're back. We're bigger.
We're better.
Not better.
No, definitely not better.
We're there.
The same size,
But we're here.
Really. It's
Yep.
about the same size.
Got William the Lunchbox Dylan with me and old Nasty Nate.
Yeah.
And we have a special guest with us this week. Sarah Draper, guitarist. We went to high school with her. We've known her probably too long at this point. And she's going to come talk to us about herself. So here we are. So I guess we'll start with what your guitar itself. What do you play?
I play a couple of guitars. Right now I'm playing Legator. I have a 6-string. It's called an Opus, and it's really cool. It's sea green.
Ooh.
And it's nice. I love it. And I have an 8-string also, and it's like multi-scale. It has my Fishmans in it, which sound awesome, especially the cleans. That's the best part.
Right.
Absolutely. Those melodic tones.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Fishman. That's a thing.
That is definitely a thing.
So
yeah.
tell us about that. Where did that even start? Did they just hit you up out of nowhere, or where did that whole thing begin?
Well, I have a friend. Her name's Sarah too. We've been friends for a while, and I played her guitar, and I was like, "Oh my God, these pickups changed my life. I can't play another guitar ever." And she's like, "Okay, here's the AR dude's email. Good luck."
Oh, sweet.
And yeah, that's how that happened. And I emailed them, and they were totally stoked on working with me. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
So do you get discounts from them, or any kind of?
I could get discounts, but so
promotions?
far all the ones that they've sent me, they've just sent me. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
I have 2 of the Tosin Abasi signature ones.
Ooh.
I have one of the modern humbucker
Oof.
sets, and they're sending me one of the Keith Merrow signature sets.
Oh,
right now.
nice.
Yeah, but the Tosin ones are my favorite so far.
I bet.
I've noticed you play a lot of.
Yeah,
animals
yeah,
as
they
leaders.
sound so much better than anything I've ever played. It's ridiculous.
Nice. Well, both of you guys are guitar players, and so I figured we could get some
I'm
some gear talk going.
Oh, absolutely. I'll talk guitars with
I
you
know
all day.
me and Nate are in the process of trying to figure out how to build a tube amp, so
Yeah,
that's the thing that's gonna happen, maybe, or we'll burn the house down.
maybe.
Hopefully.
Kill one of us.
Yeah. But so what amp do you use?
I actually don't have an amp.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Right now I just
Using DI?
yeah, I use DI, and I go in to my computer through my interface, and right now I'm using the Misha Mansour Toneforge
That is
edition.
that is good shit.
Yeah, that is fucking awesome. I'm making a playthrough for that specific plugin at the end of this month. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I've never gotten to work with DI stuff before, but it all just looks
That
fantastic.
changed everything for me because, when I first started recording stuff on my own, I was using an amp
Absolutely.
and stuff like that, and I was recording it into my into GarageBand or Logic or whatever I was using at the time, and that's cool, but the next day I might change something on my amp and be like, "Oh, this sounds so much better," and then I have to redo it all. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, but when you record DI and use plugins, you can just change whatever you want. Yeah,
Solid.
nice. That's a solid 7, maybe.
Oh,
I'll
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll give that a 7.
Yeah. But yeah, DI is definitely the way to go for me.
Really?
And you're not limited gear-wise. If you want any sound, you have
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
That's always nice.
Yeah, but I don't have an amp right now, which sucks, but I'll get there eventually.
Well, what are you working on that we're trying to build? I know we were talking about that.
I know we were looking at schematics for a 5E3,
Right.
like an old classic Fender Tweed tube amp, and the 6V6 coil or tubes and stuff. So that's what I've been getting into. I've been getting Tweed amps, playing 50 styles blues and stuff. I just picked up a Fender Pro Junior 4, so that's a totally different world to me. I've got a volume knob and a tone knob,
yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mind blowing to me that you can do all that stuff on a computer and everything.
Yeah, it's mind blowing to me too. I'm relatively new to all that kind of stuff. I'm still figuring it out. I just started a year or two ago with all that kind of computer stuff, you know what I mean? But that's that's what changed things for me. You know what I mean? Is being able to record myself and being able to hear myself and not having the pressure of having other people. You know what I mean? Not that that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. But it's also a good thing to be able to be by yourself and layer things on your own and, you know, just work without the pressure.
Right.
It makes
Yeah.
the sound that you want.
Yeah,
Right.
it makes it easier to find your own
And
sound.
when you
Yeah, that's
bring other
perfect.
people into projects, I understand, because you have to incorporate their sound with your sound, and it has
Yeah.
to work together somehow. But
Yeah.
yeah, when you have your own sound, I get what you're saying.
I've noticed it's like a really good time to get into this stuff because there's so many doors now to like play and have any sound you want. I mean, it used to be your tone, you know, to get a good tone, you have like, you know, an American made, you know, Fender with an ash body and everything. And now these days you can have like a $100 Fender Squier and have like a modeling amp or DI or something, and you can make it sound like anything you want.
Yeah, definitely. You don't need like a fancy ass guitar to make anything sound good. You know what I mean? It's cool, and the internet likes it, but it's not necessary at all.
More strings equals
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
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 That's what I hear nowadays.
Yeah.
It's all about the number of strings.
Yeah.
What drew you to? I gotta ask. What drew you to 8-string? Was it Tosin Abasi and like Javier Reyes, people like that, or?
Yeah. Well, I always kind of wanted to do it, but I just never really had the confidence to do it. And then
I don't know
started-
what to do with that many strings.
Yeah. Well, I played bass too, so like going from I started playing guitar, and then I started playing bass, and so I have both those skills. And when I started playing the 8-string, it's like I mix those because I don't play a lot of like super hardcore metal or whatever. I just I do a lot of the thumping thing. I really like that. Like I saw a masterclass of the Wooten Brothers when I was like 16
Oh yeah,
or
I
17.
remember when you did that.
Yeah. That was really awesome, and that kind of opened my mind to that. And then I found out who Tosin was, and I was like, he's like Jimi Hendrix and Victor Wooten mixed together, but like robotic. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Yeah.
it's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. It's really awesome. And when I started listening to instrumental music, that's when it kind of clicked for me. You know what I mean? And then I started getting into the heavier metal stuff. Like I did it backwards.
I
started
found my
listening.
musical inspiration when I hit like the prog metal, and that whole just instrumental genre just blew my mind. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, music.
Yeah, because I've played in so many different bands with so many different people and so many different kinds of music, but prog just kind of brings it all together in the best way, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
You
get
get
the
to
same
do
feeling.
anything, yeah.
I don't even think I knew about prog metal until you were like, "Hey, you ever heard of Animals as Leaders?"
Nate fucking Galvin, man. He was listening to that stuff, and I was like,
Save
yeah.
Us from the
It
Archon.
was Save Us from the Archon and
Animals as
Pliny.
Leaders.
That was the first one. When
Yeah.
I saw Pliny, I was like, that's
Yeah.
what I want to play.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Like that melodic shit. And then, I found Animals as Leaders, Intervals, Polyphia,
Polyphia,
all those crazy ass people that just, I don't know how the fuck they do it.
See in the
A lot of
sky.
jazz. A lot of jazz. School,
Yeah,
man.
because I played in jazz band in high school. I played with Kyle. He
Oh,
was the
yeah.
guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Bray, and I was the bassist. And I was really into that. And the first time I saw prog actually was in music theory class. Eric Williams brought
Oh, yeah.
the
Between the Bear and Me.
yeah, he brought the Colors CD, not the CD, but like a DVD of them doing it live. Yeah. He brought that into music theory class, and I was like, "Wow, this
What
is
is
awesome!"
this? It just hits
Yeah.
you, and it. I don't know what it is. I've never had music connect on a spiritual level before. But when I heard stuff like that, it was like it hit me inside, and I was like, "That's what music is."
It really blows me away because, like I was telling you, like people just, if you haven't listened to prog metal, and even if you're not into like metal at all, if you listen to like,
We call it prog metal, but I don't.
it's
It's not really,
that
what
metal.
when you hear metal,
Right.
It's not what you think.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, if you don't like metal, go look up like some of these bands and listen to that music. Because when I was in New York, so we were building a house for this older couple up in New York, and I mean they're in their like 60s, and they're kind of cultured. They've been around, they've seen a lot of things, but metal's definitely not something that they were probably ever into at any point in their lives. And I was just listening at the brain dance playing at work while
Absolutely.
I was
Good
working.
song.
And the guy comes over and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, this is a band called Animals as Leaders. And so he was like, oh, cool, I'm going to write that down. And then right when we were finishing up the job, he had us come over for dinner and made us a big, nice dinner for helping build him a house and everything. And I walk in the door, and fucking Language is playing. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit. And he's like, dude, I've been listening to this band since the day you introduced me to him.
The
And I'm like,
Contortionist.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he was like, he's been listening to all the prog bands, and like he was listening to like Chon and like Pliny and like Animals Leaders, Contortionists, and like he's like, dude, this whole scene is just blowing me away. And I'm like, well, there you go. I'm glad you found this, like, you know, in your 60s, and you'll be able to enjoy it for the rest of your life. But you know, it's a very different form of music, and we were talking about it, and it's very much like the jam band style of our generation.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the guys from like the older generations had like the Dead and Fish, which they're, you know, that
Yeah,
scene's
yeah,
still
really, that
around, and they
stuff
still
too,
go
yeah.
to that. But this is kind of like that same scene for like us and like the metalhead kids that grew up, you know, being goth and emo. And I even see people like outside of that scene coming into it, and they're like, this
Yeah.
is some damn good music.
I just love seeing all the people from those projects getting together and
yes.
just making their own shit. Because like Misha Mansour is in how many fucking bands
Oh,
and
yeah.
projects and does so much with music. It's like, it's great to see people that are not confined to just what them and their group plays.
Right.
It's nice to see music evolving.
Yeah, before we know it, we'll be seeing her on a project with one of those guys.
Probably.
So
Oh, it's happening.
you're working on
happening.
you're working on an album right now, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, it's finished.
Really?
But, it's not obviously it's not released yet.
Right.
But we've finished recording. I'm going back up to Massachusetts. That's where my drummer is.
nice.
It's just me and my drummer that are working on it, and he has the recording studio up there. And we might add a little more to it, but for the most part, it's done. And we're working on putting it out this year, but we're not gonna force it. You know, you can't like rush it if it's not done yet. But I'm really excited for it because like I had no idea when I started writing the album that I'm writing now that it was gonna get the attention that it's getting. Not that it's like super big deal right now or
Right.
anything, but it's getting a lot more attention than I thought it would, and that's really awesome.
Well, sweet. So where's it? Do you have any plans of where it's going to be when it's done?
What do you mean?
As far as like for people to find it or listen to it?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna be on Spotify and all that,
Sweet.
iTunes and whatever, you know.
Well, we'll definitely be listening to it.
Yay!
Absolutely.
So anybody out there watching, you know, be ready for that. It's going to be...
Yeah, I'm excited. And it goes from like the opening I guess riff. It's not really a riff, but it's really pretty and melodic.
Right.
It's got like piano and it's clean, but then by the end of the EP, it's like really heavy and it's like genty or whatever.
absolutely.
There you go.
The gent.
Yeah,
I like it.
But it's got that whole mixture. It's the whole range, and I really love it. The last song, I was kind of like skeptical about putting it on there, but the last song is totally different. It's piano and vocals and like a little bit of bass and stuff.
Are you doing
So-
the vocals?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Did not know you did vocals.
that's my main thing actually. That's why I learned all the instruments was to supplement that, you know.
That's
Yeah, but one of the songs is instrumental completely, and that's my favorite song on the album actually.
Nice.
Originally all the songs were instrumental, and then when I started working with my drummer, he's like, put vocals over it, and I'm like, okay. And when I wrote vocals over it, it was kind of like it's kind of hard because when I wrote it, obviously, like I said, I wrote it as an instrumental thing, so it was hard to kind of fit the vocals into it, but I made it work, and I really like how it turned out.
Oh, sweet.
But the next album we do is definitely going to be more geared towards vocals and a little bit of instrumental stuff, you know, mixed in, just like vocals sprinkled, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
nice seasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little seasoning.
A
Yeah.
little seasoning on
Flavor
there.
Town.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've been to NAMM.
Yes.
How was that?
NAMM is the best place. It's like the internet, but in person. It's so fantastic. And, you know, going to the convention is really what opened my eyes to all the weird guitar stuff that I do now.
Right.
Because when I went there for the first time, I was 20. I had my Ibanez 8-string and stuff, but I had never seen, like, Kiesel guitars. I didn't know what the fuck Ormsby guitars were. I don't know if you've heard of that. Or, like, Aristides guitars. I've never heard of those. And when I went there, it's not just guitars either. It's literally every instrument. Like, it's like 3 days of me running around playing every single instrument I can get my hands on. Like, they have electric drum kits, they have real drum kits, they have all the pianos, they have all the fucking and literally any instrument you can think of. It's like ADD fucking, oh god, it's insane. But no, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, sweet. Well, I know I've seen, like, we were looking at one of Davidad's videos where he had gotten that, what was it? The new thing he got from, it was from a guy at
The
NAMM.
tremolo bar that controls
Right, the
sound
volume or
and
like
wah.
swells
Yeah.
or stuff like that. So it's cool to see that there's like a lot of new tech that you'll see at like NAMM or like
Oh,
people.
that's exactly what it is.
It's all
that's when
prototype
everybody's
stuff.
like going full force, like, look at my shit, this is the new shit. And it's so overwhelming, but it's really great. I was afraid that I was gonna have like some awful panic attack the first time, but I went and I did well. I did okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And the second time was even better. And this next time, I'm already scheduled to play for Legator, which is really awesome.
that's
Yeah,
nice.
So I'm
Sick.
actually gonna be playing this time, and I don't know if I'll have any other opportunities to play next year, but just the one time is enough. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's
I mean that's something you can cross off your bucket list.
yeah,
I did
definitely a bucket list
Right.
item, because that's what I wanted to do when I went the first time. You know what I mean? I was like, this is fucking gonna happen. And when Legator offered me the sponsorship back in February or March, whenever it was earlier this year, that's the main reason why I took it, because I knew that they would offer me that. And I went to LA. I was in LA literally a month ago, probably exactly a month ago today. I was at the Legator warehouse, and that's when they offered me the spot. So
Nice.
those are the kind of things that you have to do to get that stuff, you know what I
Right.
mean? And it's not like impossible. It's hard and it's expensive to like go out there and do whatever, but I mean, it's totally worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, it sounds like things are looking good for you.
I'm trying.
Did you meet like any of the big inspirations that you
Oh,
have
definitely.
driving your music? Did you get to like meet and
Oh, definitely. Like that's what it is. That's what I meant by like it's the internet in person.
Right.
Like everybody who's there is who you see on like Instagram or Facebook or whatever doing the thing, and you just get to hang out with everybody and get drunk with everybody. Like I went to, NAMM's cool, and the after parties are like almost even cooler, because like I went to the Aristides after party. That's just like a guitar company.
Nice.
Free alcohol. I went to the Schecter party.
Oh shit! I'm sure that was
free
wild.
alcohol. Yeah, it's like free alcohol, and like I said that like 4 times, but yeah, and I get to hang out with all the inspirations that not all of them. I haven't get to
of
hang out
course
with
not all of
Tosin
them,
yet,
but just people that
yeah, and even even getting to see those people recognize me is like the most inspiring thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, I knew the minute I started seeing you on Instagram and like actually watching you play, I was like, you're going somewhere. Definitely.
Thanks.
I was like, that's
Yeah.
some wild shit.
Thanks. But yeah, it's totally inspiring, and the internet definitely is when it clicked for me. Like, I mean, obviously I played music and stuff before that, but it never felt like I was going anywhere. I was in like cover bands and in like a jazz band or whatever, and not that wasn't fun, but it just was never like super inspiring to me. But when I started doing it myself and getting the feedback and working with my drummer, he's really awesome too. That's when it all clicked.
Well, hopefully we'll be seeing you soon up on a big stage.
Yeah.
We'll be coming to see you. But and it's awesome that you're working with Fishman, and then you're working with
Legator.
and you'll
Yeah.
be playing with them, playing for them at NAMM. So I mean that's badass.
That's I'm so
You've only been
excited.
there twice, and you're gonna come back on your 3rd year
Yeah.
and be playing there.
Yeah.
And so now some kid's probably gonna show up and see you play and be like, "Holy shit, I want to do that."
That's the goal. That's what makes it happen. Yeah.
So that's awesome to see, and that's that's really great. So, as far as like musicians that you've met, who have you gotten so far to check off that list? Like, I know you haven't met Tosin yet, right?
I've met him, but
Have you?
Yeah, I've met him briefly, but I'm too like.
Yeah, I imagine
He's
that's
so
why I'd be like,
intimidating. He's
Right.
so intimidating. I mean, I'm sure he's like a nice guy. I've like said hi. Sorry, I'll turn this off.
When I know too, it's probably hard to
Yeah.
tell from the camera, but you're not but like this
Yeah,
tall. He's
yeah.
he's
He's a
not
tall
small,
dude,
but he's a
yeah.
big guy.
But not even just his size, but just like the vibe that he gives off.
Right.
It's not bad. It's not
Right.
like, oh, I'm better than you. It's
you
just
just
like,
walk up and you just see his aura and just
Yeah.
skill and ability just radiating off of him.
yeah, and I'm like an empath, and I sense those things. So I'm like, but yeah, I've met most of them actually. I mean, I've gotten
love
drunk
to.
with most of them. I'm not
Nice.
fucking kidding. It's like the best thing ever. And when you have something to offer to the community, which it is, that's what it is. It's a community, and it's
Right.
really, and everyone's really supportive in that prog community. And once you're a part of it, it's like everyone's fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's that's an interesting scene to see come together like that, especially with like that kind of music. And it's really cool to see everyone bouncing back and forth what they got. Like you said, everyone just shows up and they're like, well, I got this and I got that, and they're like, well, let's put it together and see what comes out of it.
Exactly.
And
yep.
you get all these crazy, you get their like main albums from like the main bands, but some of the side project stuff you see come out where it's just like me and this guy from this band and this guy from that band got together and we just decided to do some off the wall
Yeah.
shit, and then you get a whole nother level of shit out of that. So hopefully your album will come out and it'll get its attention, and then maybe someone will see that and be like, hey, you want to come work on this project? And then
that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I mean, my drummer works in I couldn't even tell you how many projects. He's a drummer, so
Right.
with drummers,
Yeah.
drummers.
yeah, yeah.
the worst.
You know how it is, but no, that's exactly what's going on, especially with prog, and that's the thing, more than any other genre of people or genre of any other scene that I've
Right.
been in. It's more everyone's really accepting and everyone's really nice, and it's just just be a good person and
Easy enough.
yeah, be a good hang and
Don't be a dick.
yeah, just don't be a fucking dick and you'll be
Absolutely.
good. Yeah,
Sweet.
just put yourself out there and it's
Well,
fine.
by that motto, we should be able to get pretty far in life.
We should already be.
We should be in charge.
We're
Yeah.
good. Golden, honey boy.
Weird because guitarists are usually naturally inclined to be dicks. We're usually pretty elitist. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at yourself.
Look at yourself.
I try to be
How
a-
could you? How could you?
I know.
I try to be humble.
Yeah.
I understand that there are far more competent musicians than myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, same.
I just try to take in what I can because it is so hard to excel at something like that, and especially to get where you are. That's my goal, and I find it is so complicated, and I'm trying so hard.
But that's what it is. What I didn't understand when I was younger, and what a lot of great musicians don't understand, it breaks my heart to see people get old and jaded because they don't understand why isn't this working for me? I'm working so hard and I'm so good and I'm trying to do this and I have an album out and it's good. But the thing is, it's not just being good. You have to be a part of the scene too. You know what I mean? You have to know people, and the only
Networking is a lot of work.
networking is literally most of it. Is knowing the right person and having the right person think that you're a good person, and all you have to do that is be there.
Right.
Yeah, you just got to be there at the right time.
90% of the work is showing up.
Yeah.
Does I believe what Uncle Tom
Yeah,
said?
that was
Yeah.
that was the keynote speech of the last podcast we did. Just show up.
90%
You
of the
figure it
work
out
is
from there.
just showing up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really, it seemed impossible at first. At first, when I started writing the stuff that I'm about to put out, I was like, oh, this is whatever.
We'll see where it goes.
It's gonna be fun. At the time, I was working on a bunch of different projects, a bunch of different kinds of music, and about a year ago, actually, I quit my job and I started doing what I'm doing now, full time, and because I realized that that's what I wanted to do, and it's been working out. Yeah, and I put everything into it since then. You know
I'm
what I
glad
mean?
that
and I've been traveling
you as a
lot.
person have found what you want to do. Because so many people don't find what they want to do.
Yeah.
And they just settle for whatever works in that moment.
Yeah.
But it's good that you found what you want to do.
Yeah, at least for now. I mean, maybe when I'm 30, I'll be like, oh, God.
That was horrible.
Yeah, I know, when I think back to me at 15, I'm like, oh, God. But, yeah, it's working out. I'm trying to figure it out.
I got to ask the question, as far as being at that level of musicianship, what inspires you to keep growing and to keep learning new things? Because you can always learn more and you can always keep evolving in different pathways. What when you pick up your guitar and you're like, today I'm gonna do whatever, what inspires you to keep going?
Well, there's a lot of things. At first, before I had endorsements or whatever, before I had an Instagram or whatever, it was literally just me being super depressed and emo and
Oh yeah.
yeah just in that funk of just being a dead person and finding something that made me happy, and that is what drives me the most because let's face it, we're all chronically depressed.
Yeah.
Life's pretty wild.
And when I started doing the tappy, I've done like I've tapped whatever for a while. Like I learned Escape the Fate solos when I was like 15 or whatever, like do 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 whatever. But like when I started making the kind of music that I am now, it's really, I don't know, it's just fulfilling. But other than that, other than just trying to pull myself out of the abyss, it's inspiring other people, you know what I mean? Like now I can do that, and it's really awesome.
And then people can look at you and go, oh, you're driving me to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's really awesome. And I like getting new gear. That's a big thing. That's a big part of the reason why I started posting stuff on the internet. Because when I started, I was just using the 6-string Dean that Santa Claus got me when I was in middle school, you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
Thanks for looking out, Santa.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got offered an endorsement by some like random ass company like a couple months or a month or so after I started posting videos, and I didn't take it, but that showed me that, well, if I get an 8-string and start really trying, then I could actually get a legit deal. And then like a year later it happened, and that was really inspiring.
Well, there you go, folks. Chase your dreams.
Yeah, fucking don't chase them like a wild fucking retard. Because that's what it was at first. Like I did retarded shit. Like I still do retarded shit. Like flying to California randomly. You know what I mean?
Right.
And getting those, not knowing like if anything was gonna happen from doing it like a month ago. And I went to the Legator warehouse, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to play at NAMM? Oh, we have this guitar. Do you want us to send it to you?" I was like, okay. So yeah, they're sending me a new one. It's pink.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And that guitar alone is worth more than I spent to go out there. So that was worth it. And also I got to be in a music video with some of my friends. Like I'd already bought my ticket and everything to go out there. And 2 days before I flew out, I saw my friend's Instagram story. I was like, hey, we're having a music video party, you know, at this house in Long Beach. Come out. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna be in LA next week. And he's like, here's the address. You know what I mean? So it's just shit like that. You just gotta like go do it. And if nothing happens, then nothing happens. I've definitely put myself out there and been disappointed, but I've definitely put myself out there and had like weird, crazy, awesome things happen to me that I would have never thought would happen. You just gotta like do it. Cause before I had the Fishman thing, like I really wanted to do it. I would really like to have the Fishman stuff, but I was like, that wouldn't happen. But it did. You just can't put those limits on yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that surprised me, and it worked, and it's actually been really awesome. And I went up there, after I was in California last month, I went to Boston where Fishman HQ is, and we filmed a playthrough of one of my songs, of the instrumental song. It's not out yet, but, that was pretty cool. And yeah, you just traveling, like Virginia is like not the place that like those kind of things happen. It's just not. I mean, I guess it can, but LA, it like is just like saturated with people who are looking for opportunities, and everyone's just stabbing into the dark randomly. And if you get a shit ton of people who are all inspired, all stabbing into the dark randomly, they're stabbing each other, and it works. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's only so many bars in downtown. You know?
Yeah.
Open mic
I worked
nights.
downtown for over a year, and I went to school downtown. Like in high school, I was downtown every day for a few years.
Corned beef for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I worked at Corned Beef for just over a year, and I experienced that scene and did open mic stuff. I got kicked out of open mics because I was too young, because I worked at Corned Beef and the bouncers knew that I was young, and so that didn't work out. I was already sick of the open mic scene before I was even old enough to do it. So, because I kept getting kicked out. I got kicked out of fucking Fork halfway through the set because dude Wayne, the fucking bouncer who also worked at Corned Beef, knew that I was a baby. He's like, get the fuck out.
Damn.
But not that that's wrong. I mean, I still do open mic stuff, and I still jam with jam bands and whatever. Like, but
Are people more timid now to ask you to jam with them?
I don't know.
See, that was actually a point I wanted to bring up because I saw a post that you put on Facebook the other day about.
Oh, well, that's been an issue like before I even did the internet thing. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The post where I was like, oh, dudes that don't play with me because their girlfriends are fucking retards. Right. Yeah. That's just... So that's been a thing all the time for every girl musician ever,
right.
not just me.
And that's something that I wanted to talk about because it's something that you can genuinely relate to. And in music and in anything, you know, you see in like gaming or like cosplaying, just being the female seems to just make everything 20 times more complicated and harder to deal with, especially when you're working with like guys, because of just bullshit like that.
Well, it's a filter because I've worked in a lot of the last band that I was in before I started doing my solo thing was with a bunch of dudes, and not saying that like I was the reason they broke up, but they broke up like 2 months after I joined, and there was a tension there because some dudes just can't be professional with a girl in a band. But what I mean by there's a filter is that like if I'm in a band with dudes who like can't be professional with a girl in the mix, then I know that they're not professional. Period. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
when
like
it comes time to actually do shit, you can't count on them.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it does make it hard, but it also makes it easier because people on the internet like to see chicks do whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like if you're playing video games, you're a chick, you're gonna get more views if you're like fucking doing whatever. It's just the way it is, and it's not fair at all. But as long as you're wholesome about it and not like flashing your tits all over the place, I think it's really cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
You can be successful without tits.
Yeah.
Quotes of 2018.
Yeah.
we're definitely trying real hard at that.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not fair. So I try to like help my guy friends. I feel compelled to help my guy friends out as much as I can because I'm like, the company's the AR dudes. Every AR dude that I've talked to is like, we don't care about if you're touring or if you have music out. We just care if you're marketable. And that's kind of like, to me, it's like, oh, wow, this is why I'm here. But it's also
but I mean,
really...
it's a business thing. It's a business.
Yeah, it just is the way it is. That's showbiz. I mean, you know, in any type of showbiz ever, like, chicks just get more views. I don't know. So I try to help my dude friends out as much as I can.
That's why we're all here.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
The Pity Podcast.
Yeah.
Here it is.
But back to what you were saying about the status that I posted last week. That's totally it's really shitty because I've played with a lot of dudes that are really awesome. That one time earlier this year I was jamming with these guys and the guitarist literally left because his girlfriend was outside blowing his phone up because I was there. And I was like, are you fucking serious? We're quitting this right now because your girlfriend is being a bitch.
Right.
Drop that bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, that's not just me though. That's any girl that I've worked with has had that same experience. Like I'm not being like.
Well, and I've seen it too. Just with the life that I've grown up with, seeing my dad and like bands that he's been in over the years. They'll have like, you know, they've had several female members come in, and I remember one time he had like a chick bass player come in, and he still plays with her today. She's awesome. But like
That's her bass under.
Yeah,
Actually.
first time,
cool.
first like the first 4 or 5 band practices she ever came to, her boyfriend came with her, and just to see, you know, the guys that she was, and I mean I understand that too. Like if your girlfriend just joined a new band and you don't know anybody in it, and you're kind of worried, you know, but at the same time, like you got to understand that music to a certain degree is, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of those dumb rock and roll bands out there that are, you know, fucking each other and doing drugs and partying all the time, but for the most part those kind of bands don't even really matter when you're trying to get into like a professional setting or trying to actually do something you know, productive, you know, stuff like gender or like having a chick in the band, or like if you got like, God forbid, if it's like all girls and one guy and all your friends are like, oh, we got to come with you to your band practice because you're the only guy in the band, you know, stuff like that just should be going out the window anyway, but it sucks that it's not.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said earlier, it just separates the professionals from the people who have other things on their mind.
Exactly.
So when that happens, I know that
that's not
who I need to work with.
Right.
Yeah, because they're not serious.
It's good that you have that mindset too, that you can tell, like, you know, okay, well, these guys clearly at some degree are more interested in women than the, you know, passionate thing that they're trying to work with. And I mean, you know, one or the other, you know, whatever, but like when you're trying to mix the two, clearly there's a lack of professionalism there. Yeah. So being able to see that, you know, is definitely nice, and it'll probably save you a lot of trouble in the long run.
Yeah, I've definitely had my share of trouble with the boys.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah, but yeah. Is that did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, being a woman and being a musician doesn't, cause too many complications for you, and you can just keep going and
Yeah, like
go
I
far.
said, there's complications, but there's also like
bonuses.
There's also bonuses.
Yeah.
There's a give and take, and if you can look at it in a professional way, then it's better, I guess. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, if anybody heard your music that didn't even know who you were as a human being, there's talent there. There's,
Yeah,
you've got tons of talent, and you're doing it well. You're not just. I mean, you can take talent and do it terribly.
Yeah,
And
there
you're
are plenty
trying-
of chicks out there that get plenty of views that suck.
Right.
That get more views than me. That like, literally, I've seen this one chick on YouTube whose channel is. I mean, go girl. Go get it. But
Get your money, girl.
Yeah, get your money, girl.
Get your
but
money,
it's literally
girl.
just like her with an acoustic and her tits hanging out, and literally every video is the same shot of the same background, basically wearing a V-neck shirt, and everyone.
I've seen that like surfing through YouTube. I think I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. And she just does like regular ass song covers. I mean, that's great. That's great. She gets a shit ton of views. I don't know. We
Yeah.
may not even be talking about the same girl, but it's
There's
basically
probably
the same
like
girl.
a few of them.
Yeah.
And
There might be
you're
more
over
than
here
one.
practicing hours and hours at a time, trying
Yeah,
to perfect
but-
your skill.
That makes me. If I were to do that personally, I would throw up
Right.
because I just can't. Like I'm like half dude. Like I can't.
But I think it's
I've
also
yeah.
what you're worth.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as what you bring in that department,
Yeah.
and you know that you don't need to do that to bring in
Yeah,
X amount of
definitely.
views.
And I've definitely had guys be like, "Oh, if you just like pulled down your shirt a little bit, you would get so many
No.
more views."
Oh, fuck
Fuck
that.
that.
I've had people say
Fuck
that to me
that.
so many times, and I'm like, "Ugh."
This is why guys aren't winning right here.
Yeah.
You say shit like that. You're
And
ruining
I've
for
literally
everyone.
had guys say that to my face, and I'm like, I fucking know that, dude, but that I can't sleep at night like that. Like, I mean, not saying that, I'm not hating on chicks that do it, like, whatever, but like, I literally like,
Just tell him you can tap your fretboard better than he can tap his bitch.
yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
Done.
Got 'em. Hopefully with what you got, none of that's going to matter anyway. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you're bringing a lot to the table for the scene that you're in.
Yeah, thanks.
And I mean, you got an album coming out. We're definitely excited for
EP.
that.
When does that
EP.
When does
EP.
that drop, by the way? Do you have a
we
date?
we don't have a date yet. Like I said, we're trying to get it out by this year. I want to get it out while I'm still 21, just so I can say that I did it when I was 21. But
Oh, there you go.
Like a Christmas release?
that would be no. I'll be 22 at Christmas. I turned 22 December 3rd.
Halloween.
But that would be cool. Yeah. It's not gonna happen by then though. But hopefully by in like November or something. Like it's already.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My child's going to be born on the 28th. Hit
Yeah.
me with that album on the 28th.
yes.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Yes. Oh, congrats by the way.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Also, if
Yeah.
anybody that watches this crap and doesn't know, Will's going to be a dad. So
Yeah.
Yay!
congratulations to him and Haley
Really,
for making a baby and getting married. We're really proud of you guys.
thanks,
So
man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We tried to.
we're really excited for what that kid's going to get to grow up in the middle of and be a part of. Yeah.
The kids, dude.
Metal music and
Oh,
Be listening to animals as leaders in the crib.
oh, God.
Infinite Annihilator.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Doom metal.
Wave of babies. Yeah.
Dying fetus
Yep.
in the crib.
Yes.
Raise them right. But
But yeah, hopefully we'll get it out this year. But we're not gonna like force it,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let it come in its own time. But by the-
Definitely out before NAMM though. It has to be out before NAMM.
well, there we go.
But that'll be my first show ever doing the whole thing is in LA, which is totally mind blowing. You
That's
know what I
awesome.
mean? Yeah.
That's
So-
really awesome.
Are there any other like places that music is taking you other than just LA? I mean, LA's a big spot I know for the entertainment industry, but like
Well, Boston is also a really awesome place for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people doing prog there, a lot of people, and it's really awesome. It's just too cold for me. I can't handle it.
Right.
I like the sun. I like summer.
absolutely,
Right.
I would be in
I
Cali
like the
too.
warmth. Yeah. I felt like I was having like withdrawals when I came back to Virginia. I was like depressed for a whole day after I came back. I was like, I miss the sun.
It's not fair. They get to skip all the shitty seasons, you know?
Yeah, I know. Like people who were born there, really lucky. Oh, were you fucking born there? Fuck you, dude.
So-
What the fuck are you doing here?
It was a while ago, but
Yeah. But no, people are really lucky that are born there, and it makes a difference. Like I said, it's like you have to be there too. I've seen so many people. Like the last drummer that I worked with in the last band that I was in. He's really, really sick, and he lives in Bedford. And he's one of those guys that I was talking about that is really, really, really good, but he just never... and this isn't weird, like, I've told him this, so it's like, you know, whatever, if he hears this, but, like...
just not too afraid to jump off that.
Yeah, no,
ledge?
what I'm saying is, like, not even just too afraid, but just, like... if the internet hadn't been a thing, that I wouldn't have realized it either. But a lot of people who live in places like we do,
Right.
just never get to realize that networking is a thing.
Right.
Like, it's half the battle. It's more than half the
But
battle.
especially in today's world, like you're saying with the internet, social
Yeah.
media, you have the ability to network with anybody.
Yeah, you don't
potentially.
have to live in a big city anymore to do
Exactly.
things. Yeah, that takes out a whole variable for, like...
Well, especially if you use gear like you do and you DI and you can work with computers and
Yeah.
stuff, you can record almost anywhere and make it sound like anything you want.
Yeah.
And then work with people on the other side of the country and just bounce files back and forth and collaborate on projects.
Yeah, like me and my drummer have never... We've jammed together, but we've never played any of the full songs live together.
Right.
We've written everything, and he's played the songs on guitar with me, but never on drums yet, and it's like... It's so backwards. You know what I mean? The internet makes everything backwards. Like, all this shit's happening to me, and I haven't even released anything yet, which is weird because, like, 10 or so years ago, before social media was a thing...
You had to put in 10 years of releasing stuff
Yeah.
before you ever got attention.
Yeah. So it's like totally backwards, and it's really awesome that everybody's like, "Oh, this generation sucks." Well, no, it's your mentality. Like, we live in the best time to be an artist, in any kind of artist, whether you're like not just a musician,
Right.
because
Yeah, because you paint and you do so many.
Yeah, so like any kind of thing that you want to do, that you want to put out there, you don't have to live in a big city anymore. You can live in Bedford. I live in fucking Bedford. I live 20 minutes away from here. And I have friends in LA and I have friends in where the fuck ever because the internet, you
Right.
know? The internet.
The internet.
Interwebs.
Yeah, you
That's
just
how-
gotta...
that's
the
the
online.
secret.
Yeah.
The dial-ups.
That is the secret.
Yeah, you just can't forget how to play regular stuff.
Right.
Yeah, because like I know a lot of people who can play like Animals as Leaders or whatever, but they forgot how to go back and just jam.
Right.
Like they can't jam, and it's like
When it
it's-
seems like a lot of guitarists that I've worked with that can just by themselves shred some of the craziest shit you ever heard of always have the hardest time fitting in with just like a groove, just jamming
Yeah.
with a band.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with a couple of guys like that, and I'm like, and they're like doing all these crazy licks, and I'm like, all right, well, cool. I'm gonna just drop a beat real quick, and you just jump in on top of it with whatever feels comfortable. And you know,
Yeah.
2 minutes later, I'm still holding the beat, and they're like, I got nothing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Just jump in and play something. So
Yeah.
that and I definitely see you guys trying to keep up with that too, because they're both trying to learn a lot of a lot of like lead stuff and like more progressive stuff like that. But you know, we get together as much as we can and just jam. You know, we'll just have like 30 minutes to an hour of just trying to all be on the same page for at least 5 seconds of time, and that definitely helps fill in a lot of gaps. And
like learning a language. Remember when I first started jamming with you, like a year
Right.
ago?
definitely it's exactly
And
like
it
a
was,
language.
yeah, like the first time I tried, I couldn't keep up. I ended up just picking up a bass and writing root notes, you know?
right.
And I found that I just had to throw myself into the groove and just start playing something, even if it sounded shitty. At
Just
least I was
play.
playing
Just
something,
fucking
you know?
play.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
So-
It is amazing though when you get 4 or 5 or however many individual minds and everyone just hits that same page.
Yeah.
And it's like you're all talking to each other and not a word's being spoken.
Yeah.
It's just like you know what I'm saying and I know what you're saying and
Yeah.
it just works out.
Being in a band is like being in a relationship, you know, with like 5 people, and you don't get sex except when you're playing a show, and that's the sex.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's the
Yeah.
release. you
yeah,
get.
yeah.
That's actually really. I've never heard it said quite like that. That's pretty neat. No, I agree with it completely. Because you know,
It's been an awkward 3-way with you two. It really is. I've been waiting for
blue
my
balls. We've been stuck in that room for like a year and a half now. Done no shows. I'm getting blue balls here, man.
oh man, we'll get out there. We'll do something eventually, or we won't. We don't really care.
That's what I feel like, though. I mean, like, I jam sometimes with my friends, but I haven't been able to play what I'm writing. And I just want to, like, I hate the songs. They're good. Like, I don't hate the songs, but I hate, like, hearing them over and over and not getting to play them. Like, I've been listening to these songs for over a year now, all the time. And I just want to, like, get it out there.
You want to show people like this is what I made.
Yeah. Like, everybody's like, oh, like, you have Instagram videos. Do you have like Spotify? I'm like, no, I'm just a meme.
Right.
No, I'm just a meme. I just play guitars with extra strings on
Just do
Instagram.
the H-string thing.
Yeah. But pretty soon I won't be a meme, just a meme anymore. I'll still be a meme, but like not just a meme.
Well, there you go.
I have like, you know, some kind of
That's all we
substance.
all hope to be. Is just more than a meme.
Just more
Just
than
more,
a meme.
just more than a meme. That could be a song, you guys.
There we
more
go.
than
There
a
we
meme.
go.
God, yes. This is the time frame to write that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than a meme. That's all I want to be.
There you go.
There we go. It's already done.
Can't
Chorus
you
is done.
see? Just want to be more than a meme.
It's sad that that's the aspiration of
That's the
2018.
world we live in.
If you can be more than a meme, you're overachieving.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm glad to see that you have that mentality because there's so many people that are just like, oh, I just got to get a bunch of attention and then I'm good to go, and that's all I need. And you're actually working to perfect your talent and actually make something out of it and create with it, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so really excited for this EP to drop. How many tracks is it going to be?
5.
Right.
Yeah, including the piano one.
Sweet.
With so that one's not like any of the other ones, but when Tony's the name of my drummer, when he heard it, I played it to him. I was just gonna put it. I'm working on like a piano album too, which is not gonna be finished anytime soon. But that was gonna be on that, and he's like, "No, you have to put one of these songs on the Anchor Thought record." And I'm like, "Okay." So I picked the one that I picked, and some people are gonna shit talk it, like, "Why the fuck would you put that on a fucking prog record?" You know, whatever. But I don't give a fuck. Like, it's
Sure.
I think it's
Yeah.
good.
Sure thing.
Yeah. So like, if you don't like it, then go fuck yourself. But
Probably like the proggiest thing you can do.
yeah.
Piano song
Yeah.
on a prog
Obsure
record.
instruments.
Yeah.
Somebody play a mandolin right now.
That's the next step.
Mandolin.
Yeah.
Mandolin.
Well, Nate's
Absolutely.
supposed to be learning banjo.
I know. I still need to pick up that banjo. That
Yeah.
Dirty
Yeah.
30.
What a name for an instrument.
I know it.
Yeah.
But, well, it's been great having you on the show.
Is it over already?
I'm gonna go ahead and wrap
Time
things up.
flies when you're having fun, don't it?
Yeah.
But so you'll have that coming out soon. So guys, be looking out for that. And then anybody that's ever even remotely interested in NAMM, be looking forward to that.
Yeah, NAMM's awesome.
Yeah, and I've seen a bunch of good YouTube videos of NAMM, and there's a lot of cool stuff that happens there. So I'll be excited to see some footage of you there next year. Maybe we can pull some strings. We can try to get in
Yeah.
and go record
No,
footage.
for real though. Like I think you can like sign up. It might be too late already because there's only a limited amount of spots. But you can just tell them that you're a student.
Yo, I'll be your roadie.
And
I'll
you
just
pay
set your shit up.
$20,
Just-
yeah.
I'll set your shit up. Go stand in
yeah.
the corner.
I'm not up there yet to where I can get other people in yet. But maybe next year. I'm still like at the bottom, but
You're there.
I'm there.
Still.
You got
You're
your foot in the door,
Yeah, I
and
got
you
a
got
foot in the
the
door.
whole road ahead of you.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
want to tag your social media so all these?
Oh yeah,
logos
my name
can-
on Instagram is SloppyJoe67.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sloppy Joe,
Sloppy Joe. Let's not get
Manwich.
into that.
Manwich.
And of course, we're stuffing things, and we're on Facebook and YouTube and
Instagram,
Instagram.
and Google Play, and Spotify.
Yeah, I also have a YouTube and a Facebook also.
Yeah, check all
Sarah
that out.
Draper.
There you go. So we're out there. We're on the internet. She's out there. She's doing big things. Be sure to check it out. And
I
that's a
haven't
wrap.
looked at the camera this whole time.
There it is. That's the money shot.
The thumbnail right there.
There it is.
All right, that's a wrap.
All right, that's a wrap.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
That's a wrap!